The nature of man as a social being requires him to be mobile, interact, fend for himself, and long for warmth. However, with rising population growth coupled with limited resources, as well as the effect of migration, the housing gap continues to widen, leaving more and more people without roofs over their heads. Ogun State, being the expansion corridor of the country's economic capital, Lagos, has had its fair share of housing challenges made complex by its location as the gateway state. The Abiodun administration from inception had its eyes on the housing sector, took bold steps to make an inroad for the people, and mobilized to build with them in mind through the provision of truly affordable housing as part of the social well-being and welfare policy thrust of its administration.
Today we build over 1,200 of those houses. We can't even build fast enough. They are buying them faster than we're building. But more importantly, our bricklayers, our carpenters, our welders, our painters are at work. So during COVID, when we were all locked up and locked in, they didn't have to be locked in because their work was external. They went to work, they were busy, they took it all out on site. So by the time they got home, they didn't have to go and start picking quarrels with their wives because they'd been locked up at home. So we also saw a decline in domestic violence because we're able to solve that problem. So in terms of individual prosperity or bye-bye to poverty of Hope 93, we see an alignment, in our visions. And we think we've done, with all sense of modesty, we think we've done very well in those regards.
The Yellow Roof Housing Project, which today dots various parts of the state, are also a result of the determination of the administration to keep on touching the lives of the ordinary citizens. When the Prince Court in Kempton started, not too many took the project to heart, considering the antecedents of previous administrations. However, in less than 100 days, the first phase of the project, comprising 130 units of expandable 2-bedroom semi-detached and detached unit of 3 bedrooms, were developed, drawing a total of 5,040 direct labor employment from the locality and 100% of building materials locally sourced. The commissioning attracted guests in their numbers in appreciation of the governor's gesture of reaching out to the people. The remark by the Commissioner for Housing set the tone for the day's event.
Let me bring to your attention that this estate, the phase 1 and phase 2 made up of 280 units of 2-bedroom expandable units, are fully sold with over 1,000 expression of interest waiting for us to meet. Your Excellency, let me on your behalf and on behalf of all of us in the housing sector thank our host communities and all relevant stakeholders, namely the Gateway Mortgage Bank, Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, family homes, and all professional bodies in the state that have provided 1 or 2 services to make us achieve what we have today. Not also forgetting all the manufacturing partners and a host of others for supporting us to make this happen.
Our Prince Abiodun achieved this feat baffled everyone, even those from the built environment.
Its tenacity and approach to solving housing need in Ogun State is so paramount in the vision and the heart of our dear government. And we believe that at the end of his tenure, his 8 years in office, no one will be homeless in Ogun State. on behalf of my organization, Abiodun and Properties, and Real Estate Development Association of Nigeria, we want to say thank you, Your Excellency, for keeping to your word. Also, to thank you for the partnership. Your Excellency has been able to create a platform for us to partner together. For the first time in the history of this state, our Excellency has provided over 10,000 hectares of land to partner with Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, so that to also collaborate with the effort of His Excellency in solving housing problem in Ogun State. So we want to say thank you, Your Excellency, and we wish you more of this in Jesus' precious name. Thank you.
But the point I'm trying to bring is the spread of development in our state, which has not been witnessed to such degree ever. Whilst you know that government resources are meager, I acknowledge that some of us are still complaining, but we acknowledge that a lot has been done to redress our plight. A lot of you just started. The race is just started. You're not even midway. The zeal and strength to initiate, conclude programs of this nature will give it to you. Our people have now recognized we pay Marius Oginian with Ariwo Kodi the music. This government is our own. The government is doing well. This government, by the grace of God, will not and shall not disappoint us.
For the governor, this was only a reflection of what is to come and a mark of his commitment to the welfare of the people.
Yes, today may not be a day set aside to celebrate the UN housing scheme or policy. However, more than 130 families will have the opportunity to have roofs over their heads, and we are glad that we are living up to that responsibility that has been entrusted to us by your votes. This housing project that we're commissioning today attests to our commitment towards infrastructural development in general and the provision of decent shelter as a basic human need and a right in our state. Our commitment to provision of infrastructure, and particularly the improvement of the social well-being and welfare of our citizens, is not negotiable. In another few weeks, the second phase of this project, which comprises of another 150 units, will be completed and ready for commissioning. That would make a combined total of 280 housing units in King's Housing Estate. This is part of our methodical and deliberate implementation of Ishaya for the continued development of our state and ensuring the wellness, well-being, and welfare of our people at all times. We promise that no part of our state will be developed at the expense of another part. We promise that we'll be inclusive by involving our people in the decision-making process on issues that affect them. We promise that we will complete any inherited project that has the potential to deliver the benefit to our dear people, because your commonwealth has been invested in them. We also promised that we will initiate new projects in line with our Ishaya development pillars. We have lived to all these promises. We promise that we'll be transparent, we'll be accountable, and also ensure the strategic allocation of resources to derive optimal benefits to you, the good people of the state. I remain committed to these promises. My dear people of Ogun State, Today is another testament. This housing facility has added to the aesthetic value of this environment. This is in addition to its socio-economic importance. Your government is providing this affordable housing at a rate of about 6 million naira. This is what affordable truly means. 6 million naira for 2 3-bedroom houses. To serve as an incentive to our civil servants, we are also giving them a discount to underscore our demonstration to the commitment to their welfare and well-being. Our civil and public servants have continued to be a major catalyst for the success that we continue to record in our building our future together agenda. In this direction, the Gateway Mortgage Bank has been directed to provide the needed mortgage for subscribers of these housing units. We are aware that with increasing population and growth, there are pressures upon the few units, thereby unfolding the inadequacies of our people's access to decent housing. However, your government is determined to provide at least 2,500 of these houses in the first 4 years of administration. By the State Housing Corporation.
Some of the beneficiaries of the scheme, who became instant landlords, were also presented with their keys.
Congratulations.
While the government continued to scale up the number of units in Kemta, attention soon shifted to happenings at the Kobakwe axis of the state, where 250 units were being constructed. This again provided employment for the entire value chain of the building industry.
When you look at where we started from Kemta, which we built the first phase of about 125 housing units of 2 to 3 bedroom expandable units. We did some in Idiaba. We've come to Kobakwe. You are all aware that before we embarked on this project, we did a survey in line with our inclusiveness. We wanted to be sure that the houses we are providing meet the expectations of our people, both in land size, both in the size of the building themselves, both in affordability and location particularly, because we've seen housing estates built in this state in the past that have become a den of destitutes. Nobody bought them, and they're still there as we speak. I think we got this right, because Kenta was oversubscribed. Even this one that we just started roofing is already becoming oversubscribed. What we're doing here, we're doing in Shagamu, we're doing in Ikene, we're doing in Ijebode, we're doing in Ota, we're doing in Ilaro. We're targeting 2,000 housing units. That will be a history since the creation of this state for any administration.
Barely 6 months after the commissioning of the Kemta housing units, the governor, in company of President Muhammadu Buhari, commissioned the Prince Court Estate in Kobakwe and the King's Court Estate in Okemuson.
I'm very impressed with what I have seen, and I think all the agents stand here, seeing is believing. In less than 3 years, we have delivered so much physically on the ground, which we are witnessing. I certainly appreciate you for inviting me to share in your deserved performance. As an onlooker, I am very grateful that you associated me with this. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for Mr. President. And the tape will now be cut, signaling the inauguration of this King's Cut Estate.
I want to congratulate His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Abiodun. I want to congratulate him on the commissioning of this landmark project across Ogun State. They are legacy projects that after he might have left office in 2027, that can always be remembered for the good works he has done. And this is just the beginning. People who feel that they know what they are looking for, and they have seen it in Dr. Abiodun. And I'm telling you one thing, they are already forming their opinion about our government. It's not about sharing money, it's about delivering on the mandate. And he said something that he's not promising to do everything, but he has promised to deliver what he has promised the Ogun State people. And I'm sure of one thing, when the time comes for Ogun State people to decide again, they will not disappoint Dr. Abiodun.
This is a promise-keeping administration.
We will continue to serve you. We will only make promises that we intend to keep. We're a promise-keeping administration.
To find us worthy, ready, and willing partners.
Now, the administration races against time to complete the third phase of work in Kobakbe, comprising 230 units of 2 bedrooms semi-detached and 3 bedrooms fully detached apartments. This will bring the total figure of housing units here to 530, having already delivered 300 units in phases 1 and 2. To ensure best practices and standards are maintained, the Commissioner for Housing alongside his team keeps tabs on every step taken by the builders. There are usually more than 300 workers on the site daily here.
We are engaging artisans, bricklayers, carpenters, welders, roofers, and so on, plumbers and so on. We are engaging them directly by providing a means of sustainable wage and employment for them. Okay? So, with that, we have removed the intermediaries that would have necessitated an increase in our prices. So, the margin on each building is maybe about 300,000 or thereabouts. That's the labor approach. Okay? So, that's at the end of the day has given us that comparative advantage to deliver our houses at rock bottom prices, even far cheaper than what any other state government, even the federal government, is doing. And as a matter of fact, Ogun State's price is the cheapest in the whole country. No state, no federal government has been able to beat us to that.
The projects are creating huge impact on the neighborhood and the workers.
I'm a married man and with 2 children. Since I've been hard for so long, I've been in this work for almost 10 years, but since I've met this project, that Abiodun's project, I thank God for being in this place. My family are living fine, and I'm happy with people working with me in this project. Glory be to God.
If somebody is working for you on a daily basis and you have the money, you pay them, and they will be happy to feed their family, to pay their children's school fees, and they will be comfortable. And that will stop all this rubbish going up with all those guys doing all this rubbish, doing Yahoo and all sort of things.
Call back pẹ́ láwa yìí. Ó dẹ̀ ti tó méjì mẹ́ta mẹ́rin tí wọ́n ti ń ṣe káàkiri. Tó yẹ pé ní àwa tá a jó ṣiṣẹ́ wọn, à ń jẹun, à ń mu ìyàwó ń jẹ. So à dẹ̀ ń bọ́ ẹbí, à ń bọ́ ara. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọọṣẹ́ gbogbo wọn benefit, àwọn ọ̀gá aṣẹ́ wọn benefit lára àjọba àdàpọ̀ gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣe inú wa dẹ̀ ń dùn.
Àdúrà tí mo fẹ́ fi ràn ọ́ lọ́wọ́ ni pé òkè tó ń gbì lágbára Ọlọ́run á ṣàṣeyọrí ẹ̀. A tún fẹ́ pé kán lè ṣe kejì sí kára lè túbọ̀ tu gbogbo ọmọ Ogun.
While Ogun State Property and Investment Corporation OPIC caters to the yearnings of the upper income earners and premium investors, the Yellow Roof projects are coordinated by the Ogun State Housing Corporation in collaboration with the Ministry of Housing. The General Manager of the corporation speaks on these projects and their prospects.
I call the governor a game changer. Reason being that it's come with a passion for housing. And you will agree with me that housing is not the same as shelter. What you see around that people deliver is their shelters. Housing comes with all that makes life to be worth living. You're doing a scheme that comes with tarred road, concrete drains, fence, there are gated communities, it comes with electricity, it comes with water. And in some cases, it's also pressing to say we should be able to have some internet facilities that will be able to serve all these estates. There are estate communities and services that are available. In all what we have done in the last 3.5 years, of course, it's far, far, far more than what the old government put together in Ogun State have delivered over the last the entire age of Ogun State.
In the same vein, the Gateway Mortgage Bank, an Ogun State-owned financial institution, has acted as a backbone for the projects and also playing a major role in assisting beneficiaries purchase their homes at low interest rates. The bank's managing director says they are very well positioned to discharge their assignment.
Having this type of government are giving us the opportunity to assist by giving out these mortgages. For example, for those houses being built by OPIC, we finance to a certain level. When you're taking a mortgage, you need to contribute, which because your own stake. So for those middle and lower level, the one you must have been seeing, you must have seen Kobakwe while you're entering, and then Kenta, maybe you've been there, I don't know. So we finance it to a certain level. And what helps us is that we're so fortunate. One, we have fund. Number two, we go to capital market through NMRC, Nigeria Mortgage Finance Company. We're a member, we're a shareholder. So based on that, we have opportunity of like refinancing all our mortgages. When you give it out, you can go to the capital market, recoup yourself so that you can come and buy your book more loans with lower interest rates. Deliberately, the governor instituted a committee to ease business, doing it, and it's working.
Today, beneficiaries are enjoying their homes, and many more are waiting to be presented keys to their apartments spread across other senatorial districts.
By the grace of God, I was the beneficiary of 2020 Teachers Award. So I was the first in this state to be awarded a housing unit by His Excellency. I'm sure you could recall that moment. So yeah, thanks to His Excellency for that. Have had 2 or 3 different plots somewhere. I've started foundation. At a point I've dropped. hub because there are several issues around the high cost of building materials and what have you. And for severally we've been having different governments coming up with different housing unit schemes. And when we talk of a practical sense of housing units, I think Prince Abiodun has made it possible because aside from being a beneficiary, this is something that is affordable to those who actually paid, because this is a pro bono. It's an award for the state for me. But with my colleagues that we are here together as residents, we can demonstrate the fact that this is actually what we call low-cost housing scheme for middle class and for other interested people in the state. So Governor Abiodun has really done well in that aspect, and I must give him that kudos. So he's an enabling governor.
When you look at the building vis-a-vis the infrastructure, I want to say it's really affordable. It's a subsidized housing. Do you understand? Because when you look at the infrastructure provided, the drainage, the road, the electricity, I would say the government has done well by subsidizing that housing. That's the truth. Because when you compare it with what private developer does and the amount they sell it, it's a subsidized housing. I would rather say they should call it subsidized housing, not affordable, okay, or both, either way.
In the words of the great philosopher Aristotle, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Governor Abiodun, through his works, has continued to turn critics into allies, foes into fans, and unbelievers into believers. He has stayed on course despite the many rivers he's had to cross. Once again, he is on track to hit an unprecedented 2,500 housing units within 4 years of office. Yet he assures that there are far, far better things ahead than has been experienced. This is another milestone of an administration touching the lives of the people. It's no surprise the awards keep rolling in. The journey continues.